We are SM Hoops YouTube Live right here with Chris Ferendorf. I'm Alex Coyle. The Knights, well, they traveled over to Milton, Georgia tonight to face off against the Milton Eagles. Should be a very good basketball game. Pair of teams that won their respective state championships last year, but this year got pretty much all that talent back. We're set for a nice one here on this Saturday night.
Yeah, Milton, they're going to be a tough team. Like you mentioned, they're the 2021 state champs of Georgia. St. Mary's Knights, as many of you know, the 4A state champs of Arizona last year. So this is a top-notch battle, and that's why it's the last game here for this tournament here at Milton High School.
And member of the Longhorn Classic here in Milton. But let's get to know Milton a little bit. Again, we talked about the 2021 state champs for Georgia, but they've got some good talent as well, especially a pair of guards.
Yeah, that would be Bruce Thornton and Kanan Carlisle. They're committed to Ohio State and Stanford, respectfully. One is a senior, one's a junior. They're really the ball-dominant guards of this squad. They look to control the tempo. You know, Alex and I, we watched them play on ESPN versus, I believe, Camden, the number 3 team in the country at the time. So those are the real two guys to key into. Besides that, they have one player listed above 6'5". St. Mary's has 3 and maybe 4 in Garrison Phelps. So they're going to have to use their height to their advantage.
And, of course, Milton, Georgia, and St. Mary's, neither of them have lost a true road or a true home game. One of those has to give here tonight. But also, Milton, they haven't lost here at home in their home gym since February 26th of 2019, the first round of the state playoffs. How does St. Mary's get it done tonight?
Yeah, well, it's gonna start from the beginning, and that's what Coach Lopez was saying to us. As in, you're going to have to survive the first 2 or 3 minutes of this game. If it gets out of hand fast like it did versus Newton in Louisiana, they're a similar squad in terms of athleticism. You know, that could be the difference in the game. 15-point lead for Newton early on. The Knights couldn't really climb back into it. So Coach Lopez just wants his team to survive the first couple of minutes, then gather their feet and play the rest of the game.
Now let's talk about two styles of play, very different for both teams. St. Mary's on this last win streak, they've been averaging over 90 points in those wins. Milton, they like to play the game mid-60s.
Yeah, their last couple of games, like you've seen, and essentially all season long, they've been winning in the mid to high 60s. And the St. Mary's Knights, specifically in region play, like you mentioned, averaging about 90 or so points a game. So with the 35-second shot clock here in Georgia as well, that's probably going to play toward the Knights' favor in terms of how the game is played. So we'll see. Whichever style is able to take control of the game is really what's going to do it.
Yeah, Coach also mentioned no matter what, you have to make shots. If you want to set up the pressure, you got to make shots so you can get into the press out of the inbounds. Now, one thing that we kind of talked about in the last game, who was going to start with Seydou Tambora back fully healthy? It's going to be Kenny White getting the nod here today.
Yeah, he's going to get the start, and he's going to get the chance to go out there, try to space the floor, hustle hard like he does, and then Seydou Tambora probably be the first guy off the bench, give him a breather, and give the St. Mary's Knights squad some added defense, some added rebounding, and of course, he brings his type of hustle as well and energy.
Now, you mentioned the last time St. Mary's played a team from Georgia, it was Newton. It was a 5-point game heading into the fourth quarter. St. Mary's was not fully healthy. Now they are. How different is this team going against another top Georgia talent?
Well, yeah, they've got Seydou back. They've got Fune, who did not start the season healthy, and now he is well conditioned, or at least better than he was within his first couple weeks. So this St. Mary's Knights team is healthy. They've got depth, and they're going to be able to throw a couple different lineups out there depending on how Milton is playing the game.
You mentioned St. Mary's. Coach Lopez says survive the first 2 minutes, and then you play your game.
Yeah.
How does St. Mary's do that tonight?
Well, they're going to have to play tough defense. Like you said, from the get-go, they'll probably come out in a press and test the waters, see how that goes, and then offensively, like you said, you're going to want to get out in transition, but when you can't, go into your half-court sets and try to score points. You've got to make your jump shots as well. So those are some keys that I think Coach Lopez has mentioned to us. So,
Coach Lopez in the ride over mentioned not only survive the first 2 minutes, but this is like a prize fight, main event, last game of 5 here at Milton High School in the Longhorn Classic. It's the main event, do or die time for St. Mary's, a big test and a good test before state tournament starts here in a couple of weeks. Back in 5 minutes for lineups, national anthem, and tip-off right here on We Are SM Hoops YouTube Live.
At this time, you please stand for the playing of national anthem. And now for the swing miles. The losing team, Knights of St. Mary's on their phone. Number 1, Styles Pitts. Number 2, Garrison Close. Number 5, Jacob Estrella. Number 11, Kenny Warren. And number 35, Jeremiah Cherry. Knights of St. Mary's, the first head coach, David Lopez. Your home team, home state. Here you go. All Milton High School. Number 0, set.
St. Mary's basketball on We Are SM Hoops YouTube live from the rowdy Milton High School gymnasium. It's a very good crowd on hand. They pulled out all the stops out here for this Longhorn Classic, again alongside Chris Ferendorf. I am Alex Coyle. This should be just a flat-out tremendous matchup between two defending state champions. Jeremiah Cherry wins the tip for St. Mary's, and we are underway. Styles Phipps, and he's guarded by Bryce Thornton, the commit to Ohio State University. Knights with the basketball, 35-second shot clock in this one. Styles Phipps, air ball on the first three. Cherry gets the offensive board and resets things offensively. Back into Cherry. Going to be the advantage there all day. The hook and the score, and the Knights take a 2-0 lead. Quickly out to run. That's Fitzgerald trying to lay it in. Gets his own miss. Brings it down. Kenny White trying to rip it away, but it's won by Fitzgerald, and a foul going to come against Garrison Phelps. A nice job on the offensive end. Again, getting it to one of the advantages, the big Jeremiah Cherry.
Yeah, you mentioned it. That matchup of Jeremiah Cherry versus LT Overton. He's listed at 6'5", 265 pounds, and we've been told that he's a tremendous football player. That's his main sport, but he definitely has the girth to guard Jeremiah Cherry and test him inside.
Fitzgerald, a 6'3", 180-pound junior, small forward, hits the first free throw, misses the second. Cherry gets another rebound for him on the game, already 2 to go with his 2 points. Estrella straight away, finds Kenny White on the right wing. Harrison Phelps, free throw line jumper a little bit long, and the rebound grabbed by Cannon Carlisle, the Stanford commit. He's a junior. Now to Bruce Thornton. Straightaway 3, flat and short. And the Knights look to run with Styles Phipps. Knights lead this one 2-1. Just over a minute in. Styles straight away from 3 off the screen. That one's pure. Knights by 4 early. And that's the key, hitting shots and surviving the first 2 minutes. According to Coach Lopez, so far so good. 1:20 in.
On the first couple of possessions for the Knights, the 35-second shot clock has not played a factor. They've played
free throw line jumper. Knights, another chance to run. Styles Phipps off the glass, and that's through quickly. 7-1. A run for St. Mary's, playing their pace with a 6-point lead.
Yeah, we mentioned before the game that Milton, they really like to slow the ball down, and they like to draw out their possessions, set everything up, and run through their progressions. This St. Mary's Knights team, they're pretty much the exact opposite.
Another 3-point attempt, back iron, rebounded by Cherry. Now Garrison Phelps will bring it up the floor. 2 minutes in, Knights with a chance to extend a 2-possession lead. Into the corner, Kenny White going to drive baseline, kicks back out. Cherry dropped the basketball, had a chance to get it to Phipps for an open look. Styles going to shoot the ball anyway for 3. That one missed almost everything, and now Milton, I should say, going to run out, and Cannon Carl gets the first field goal for the Eagles, and it's 7-3. Styles into the lane, little floater. That one's pure as well. Lead back to 6 for St. Mary's.
And he's just so tough to guard, and I'm sure these Milton guards are figuring that out right now. You have to pick Styles Phipps up the moment he passes half court.
Absolute opposite start from the game against Newton, and a 5-second call. How about the defense from Jacob Estrella there, guarding Fitzgerald, and the Knights forced a turnover.
That's one of the best parts of Estrella's game. He's that 3-and-D type player where he's going to play tough defense on opposing wings, and then he's going to knock down the occasional 3-ball.
Styles Phipps back up to Garrison Phelps as the Knights work through their offense. Kenny White trying to set a screen down, a lob back, but it's tipped and a little short, grabbed by Fitzgerald. Turnover for St. Mary's. Had a look at it, but the pass got tipped. Thornton between his legs, fighting through screens is Phelps. Getting screens from that big man Overton, open for a 3, and that one is true. Fitzgerald cuts the lead in half. Styles trying to answer back and hold on to this lead. Almost halfway through this first quarter. And we're going to get a foul fighting for position. I believe that's going to go against Overton. And the first whistle against the Eagles of Milton. 1 foul apiece for each team.
Now, Milton only has one player listed over 6'5" on their roster. That'd be Michael Fainberg, the 6'8" power forward, and he's nowhere to be seen on the bench, so that's definitely something to keep an eye on in tonight's game.
Little give and go off the inbound. Styles missed it, but a turnover. Grabbed by Kenny White. Finds Cherry. He drives. Almost traveled, but the finger roll layup goes in. Back to a 5-point lead, 11-6. Lob in the back door. Overton and one going against Kenny White. He's got out of position. Overton to the free throw line. A chance to cut it to a 2-point game. With 3:53 to go, first quarter.
And it's going to be dangerous for this Milton team if they're going to play the up-tempo style of basketball that St. Mary's three-game win streak, while the Knights, that 6-game win streak extending back to that last game victory in the Louisiana tournament. They're averaging 90 points per game during this stretch.
And he made the free throw, a substitution for St. Mary's as Tambora comes in for Kenny White. So St. Mary's going to go back and go to that big lineup. Work on some of that. Dribble into the lane. Chase Cormier back out for a three. No good, but a rebound to Fitzgerald. Back door is wide open. Phelps lost his man. That's Bruce Thornton with the slam. For Estrella. Milton runs. A chance to tie if they hit a three. 3 minutes to go, quarter one. Free throw line jumper. Front rim, no. Fight for the board. Overton throws it out of bounds. St. Mary's will take over.
Now, if you're St. Mary's, obviously you want to push the tempo and play fast, but on that last possession, the Jacob Estrella step-back three, maybe you're looking for a little bit of a better shot. It seemed rushed from the Knights on that last possession.
Styles calmly brings it up the floor after the turnover. Into Tambora, his first touch, good move, but gets it pinned up against the backboard by the 6'3" junior Fitzgerald. Welcome to the game, Seydou Tambora. Seydou, very talkative guy off the court. So excited to get his chance here today. Didn't make that trip to New Orleans. A three, no, that was a chance for the tie. And St. Mary's a chance to get it back to 2 possessions. Styles trying to get it in. Instead, he'll get a fadeaway from the baseline. That missed everything. Fitzgerald. Haven't gone back to Cherry since their first possession. Mentioned that would be the advantage for the Knights, the size, especially in low. Now we're going to get a foul. Driving was Thornton. It would be the third foul against, make that the second against St. Mary's. And the first against Seydou Tambora.
Well, and that's something that assistant coach Joshua Lowry keyed in on, getting Jeremiah Cherry involved and getting him involved early.
And Overton absolutely stymied by the defensive Cherry. Good job by him to stay straight up and avoid a foul. Styles back to Cherry. Dribble handoff. Estrella pulls up from the free throw line off balance. Hits the rim. Rebound to Overton. Under 2 minutes left in this first quarter. Knights have led all the way. And Carlisle, guarded by Phipps, gets a screen. Into the lane, bumped, turns the basketball over. Estrella much faster than Overton. Has to fade away and gets his shot blocked. Should have gone up strong. Instead, a transition three that can't be hit. And the Eagles just struggling from beyond the arc. Harrison Phelps trying to back down Fitzgerald. Back out to Cherry. He'll shoot the jumper. That can't fall. Both teams struggling the last couple. Is pure from Cormier, and a timeout called by St. Mary's. We're tied at 14.
A couple of those possessions that got this tie for Milton, it was the offensive rebounding that really helped them out. With Seydou Tambora and Jeremiah Cherry in there, that's a little bit surprising to see.
Now let's go to this story, really, of Mary's won the first round, if you will. Came out punching, but now both teams have settled in. Milton went on a little bit of a run. He's had things up at 14.
Yeah, well, of course you want to start well, but it's also about how you finish quarters, Alex. And we've talked about how this St. Mary's team can sometimes be off and on in terms of how they start and end quarters. So this is a big last minute here to end the first.
Cherry. Everything around the perimeter for St. Mary's. 20 seconds on the shot clock. It's a screen from Tambora. Open on the right wing. Garrison Phelps can't hit his second three of the day. And another rebound. 1 second difference between shot and game clock. Floater in the lane for the lead. Can't go. Would have been Milton's first. Styles Phipps working transition. Shot clock turned off. 22 seconds left in the quarter. And Mr. Buzzer Beater himself holds the basketball. 12 to shoot. Elbow jumper. Can't go. Fight for the rebound. Tipped out of bounds, and it'll stay here. 6.5 in the quarter. Knights tied with Milton. Styles Phipps will inbound. Who are you looking for here, Chris?
You got to look for some off-ball action to get Styles Phipps open here.
Dribble handoff to him. 4 seconds. Got to put a shot up 1 second, and Estrella won't get one off. And we're tied after 1 quarter.
Definitely not the worst thing in the world there to be tied at 14, especially at a Milton home gym where they have not lost since 2019, Alex. Like you said, they survived the first round, come out of it tied. But you know, if you're the Knights, you liked how you were playing early, getting Jeremiah Cherry involved, swinging the ball around the perimeter. After that, both teams kind of got caught up in, you know, some bad three-point shots and maybe pushing the ball a little bit too fast up and down the court.
And of course, we want to thank our sponsors really quickly, V's Barbershop, Cunningham Aviation, and the Arizona Leadership Foundation for making these streams available all season long to everybody involved, everybody watching at home, allowing us to travel with the team this year especially and bring this one to you from just north and a little bit east of Atlanta. We knew this one was going to be close the entire game. Basically just an opposite start of the game against Newton. Last time St. Mary's played a top Georgia team, St. Mary's got off to a really slow start and had to come back and ended up really close after 1. And we're tied. Milton will start with the basketball, still moving from right to left.
And if you're the St. Mary's Knights defense, you've done a good job. If you're the Knights team, that's what I'd look to continue to do.
Same lineup on the floor that finished that first quarter for St. Mary's. And Styles Phipps gets a turnover. Can he go coast to coast into the lane? Finish. No good. Gets his own miss. Went up. And he traveled. Went up and then started his dribble in midair. And St. Mary's not really used to so many contested layups like that. They're going to have to start going into some bodies and drawing contact on the way up.
You've got to get to the line, draw the contact like you said, and force these Milton players to foul you because they're just as athletic as...
By Tambora on the offensive board. Overton still working down there. And his left-hand hook is good. Milton with its first lead. It's 2. Cherry with the ball. Hasn't had it in low since the first possession of the game. Tambora, left wing. Garrison straight away for 3 in the lead right back. Too long. Feet just weren't set. St. Mary's hasn't been able to get into its press much so far today, just by the sheer fact that they're not making shots at that end. One of those keys that Coach Lopez talked about, Chris. Carlisle finds Fitzgerald. Milton's struggling from the floor as well, but they lead by 2. Knights can't regain possessions. Fune Dakure getting ready to check in for St. Mary's. And a blocking foul, very late whistle. But there was contact there, and that's against Garrison Phelps, his second. In comes Fune. He'll give Seydu a breather. Carlisle in the lane off the glass, very high to get it over the outstretched arm. And now a whistle's going to be blown. Talking to Coach Lopez is one of the referees. Not sure if there was a warning there or something. No timeout was called. What did you see there, Chris?
I saw Coach Lopez say something to the referees on that foul they called on Garrison Phelps. The block, that is. And I believe he might have been whistled for a warning there as the referee turned to the scorer's table and motioned over to Coach Damon Lopez.
Dakure. Everything beyond the arc for St. Mary's. And that pass contested, little off the mark. And it goes to Avery White, first bench player in for Milton, and he can't hit the layup. 2 minutes into the second quarter, Knights haven't scored yet, and as I say that, a three straight away from Styles Phipps. It's a 1-point deficit.
So far, he's been carrying the offensive workload for this Knights team.
Up the floor, dive for the ball, doesn't go out of bounds. Cherry on the dribble drive, spins around and a charge. Just too out of control for the big man, and again, he's catching the basketball beyond the three-point arc on almost every possession. The effort hasn't been made to get it to him on the block on a post.
Yeah, you've got to let him work down there. Let him try to post someone up. Because when he's catching it right around the free throw line, yeah, he can make the 15-foot jumper, every so often, but you'd prefer Jeremiah Cherry to work down low.
Now Cherry will take a seat on the bench, and back comes Seydou Timbora. Does give the Knights a chance to maybe pick up full court, but they only send Phipps down there. As Bruce Thornton brings it up the floor, again committed to Ohio State University, the Buckeyes. Into the post, Overton working on Decoure to Fitzgerald. He backs out, and he's got the big man on him. Maybe a bit of a mismatch, trying to isolate that side instead of dribble handoff to reset things. That's Cannon Carlisle. Left wing floater. Thornton, no good. Tipped out. Rebound to Styles. 3-on-2. Garrison goes up, and they say he walked.
Tough angle for me to see that. Alex, did you see 3 steps?
It's a matter of when he caught the ball and when he took that step. I wasn't sure. It looked a little awkward to me. Maybe that's what the referee saw as well. Hold a turnover, still a 1-point game. Overton drives against Decoure. Dribble drive with him and a turnover. Knights just not paying attention. Going up, and that's just big man basketball. Thornton right through Fournier. It's quickly a 5-point game. Knights just losing their cool, turn it over once again. Fitzgerald, Seydou Timbora. A 3-point attempt. Carlisle, way off. Harrison Phelps smartly slowing things down. The big man Cherry ready to check in at the next whistle. 25 seconds to shoot, 4 minutes to go. Jumper, Styles in the air, now a 3-pointer from Timbora. That's way off, shot selection again. Cherry's shot an outside basket. So is Timbora, neither of them really close to going in. Thornton kicks it out to Fitzgerald, working on Decoure. Decoure looks a little bit winded, holding his shorts on defense. 15 seconds to play on the offensive end. 3:30 in the half. Kenny White, junior Canyon Carlisle, makes it a 7-point game.
And this is the first possession in quite some time where the St. Mary's Knights have set something up.
Styles, a floater. Do they count the basket? They do, an and one, and that could be something to get things back rolling for St. Mary's. Along with Cherry coming back in, A.J. Montumbo with some athleticism. Able to guard some of those guards. Fournier Decoure, again mentioned he looked a little bit winded on that last defensive possession. He'll check out.
Well, and he just threw the ball away when he was passing it into Styles Phipps off of a made basket. You're replacing Fournier Decoure with A.J. Montumbo, who's just a freshman. You have to instill it in him to make good passes and make good decisions, because every turnover in a game like this matters.
That's a huge and one there, but an offensive board down to the post. Cannon Carlisle, that's against Styles Phipps, something he can't really allow happen, especially when a big man shoots a 3. Knights down by 6. Knights have led by as many as 6. Couple of screens. They're going to call a foul on the drive as it was kicked out to Garrison Phelps. That'll be the second foul of the quarter against Milton. They reset the foul count after each quarter in Georgia high school basketball. 25 seconds on the shot clock, 2:37 in the first half. Styles inbound, looking to give it to somebody. He's almost got a 5-second count, and he did.
I know Styles Phipps is the most trustworthy with the ball in his hands, but it's surprising to see him being the one passing the ball in instead of receiving it, even underneath the basket.
Especially when you're struggling to get guys open on those inbounds plays. Out to the corner, a little ball fake from Cormier. He's hit a 3 today, tries at another, rims out. Rebound to Cherry. 2:20 left. Styles sniping through into the lane, has to go back out. These guards for Milton, tremendous defensively. Not allowing the easy penetration. That's good defense by the big man. Gonna outlet to a dunk, and putting it through is Bruce Thornton. It's an 8-point lead and a timeout, St. Mary's. They had on the ball screen, and Cherry kind of slipped it. He was open, but they slapped it right out of Styles Phipps, the sophomore's hands.
Yeah, Styles, he has to have the ball in his hands pretty much the entire time the Knights are on offense, just because he's that good of a ball handler. He's that much, better and more confident and less turnover prone than some of these other St. Mary's guards, but at the same time, if he continues to turn his back while he's dribbling out of situations, it's going to keep getting poked out. These are Ohio State and Stanford commits on defense, and they're proving to be pretty tough.
And on that screen, they kind of hedged it a little bit with the big man, LT Overton. He's a football player, and he did a nice job to maybe plug the lane for a running back, allowed his linebackers to come up, strip the ball, and go the other way.
Yeah, he's actually been able to I've been impressed with him moving his feet. Yeah. He's a big boy, that's for sure, but he has some nice footwork, and he's able to slide and cause some trouble on the defensive end.
Of course, Overton, I should say, listed at 6'5", 265 pounds. Kenny White back into the game. Corner 3, Styles Phipps, no good. And rebound goes to Thornton. They look to push. Good defense by Estrella to get back. Knights have numbers if they hurry. Styles looks to get into the lane. Good pass to the corner. Kenny, baseline floater, just a bit short. One of those that White has to hit. Need some of the supplemental players for this St. Mary's team to add just a little something to keep this thing close. Pulling up from 3 to try to make it double digits. Overton just wanted that board a little more. Into the lane. Good defense from Styles, but he's called for a foul. And Carlisle will head to the free throw line. Again, a 6'4", 160-pound junior. Takes that first free throw. The next a chance to make it a double-digit lead. The largest lead for Milton gets even larger, 30-20. St. Mary's at one time, led by as many as 6. 6 points in this quarter for St. Mary's, 15 for Milton. Actually haven't counted that last free throw on the score. 50 seconds left in the quarter.
If you're Jeremiah Cherry, you've just got to want it a little bit more. You have to get that position on LT Overton. You've got to hold it until one of the St. Mary's Knights guards can force the ball into you in the paint.
Into Overton. He doesn't catch originally, but resets. Guarded by Cherry. Good defense by Jeremiah, but a better move. 12-point game. 20 seconds in the half. Make that 15 and counting. Our graphic is a little behind. 10 seconds to shoot for Styles Phipps. He says he wants to isolate. 5 to shoot. Styles in and out dribble. Into the lane. A floater gets that one blocked. Tries to get a steal, but the time is going to expire on the half. And how about that second quarter from the Milton Eagles? 18 points. St. Mary's just 6.
Yeah, not a formula to success. And the St. Mary's Knight squad heading to the locker room, I'm sure Coach Damon Lopez would like to see a little bit more out of pretty much everyone except Styles Phipps. He really has carried the load so far offensively for this Knight squad, and we saw Garrison Phelps hit a 3 early. We saw Jeremiah Cherry hit a 3 early. But besides that, they've pretty much been invisible on offense throughout that second quarter.
And Coach Lopez said, we keep crediting him on this, but you got to make shots and make plays to beat a team. It doesn't matter. You can game plan as much as you want. You can scout as much as you want, but you have to get in transition. So far, Milton's played a little bit up pace to St. Mary's liking, but it's a 12-point lead for the Eagles.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Giles Phipps, Garrison Phelps, and Jeremiah Cherry definitely has to carry a little bit of the load.
Now a quick word from our sponsors before we head to halftime.
Obviously, we thank V's Barbershop, Cunningham Aviation, and the Arizona Leadership Foundation for sponsoring this St. Mary's Knights program. The V's Barbershop, with 14 Valley locations, they are celebrating 17th Best of the Valley win. You got to come check them out. They're the guys who originally brought back the authentic barbershop experience back in 1999 and added a modern-day twist. V's Barbershop. It's a night or a guy thing, Alex.
It is a night or a guy thing. Knights down by 12 at the half after being tied after 1. Back in 8.5 minutes for some halftime stats and half number 2. We thank you for watching. We are SM Hoops, YouTube Live. Back here getting ready for half number 2 between the Milton Eagles and St. Mary's Knights. The Knights trail by 12 after 2 quarters, getting ready for quarter number 3 alongside Chris Ferrendorf. I am Alex Coyle. And, you know, there are official stats being kept. We were handed a sheet at halftime. And if you look at the trends, Chris, turnovers, points off turnovers, St. Mary's with 2, Milton with 12, which just so happens to be the difference in the game. And points in the paint, something that we thought St. Mary's would have a big advantage in. Milton 20, St. Mary's just 4.
Yeah, that definitely, plays a factor in a game like this. When you have the height that St. Mary's has, Jeremiah Cherry, Fune Decore, and Seydou Tambora all above 6'8", and Milton has not played a player above 6'5", you'd expect to dominate in the paint, but that just has not been the case for this Knights squad.
St. Mary's will start with the basketball. Just 3 players wearing green have scored today: Styles Phipps, Garrison Phelps, and Jeremiah Cherry. Cherry in the lane, working on Overton, and a jump ball as Cherry heads down to the deck. It'll be Eagles ball. Point totals: Styles with 13, Garrison with just the 1-3. He's 1 for 4 from the floor. And Jeremiah Cherry with 4 points, 7 total rebounds. Lob attempt over Kenny White, but that one was missed. Pass was offline. Now a lob the other way. Garrison Phelps can't get it to go. That would have given the Knights some life. Now working the other way. Good defense from Styles, and there's a foul against number 1 in green, fouling number 1 in white. First real, not so sure about that one for me, Chris.
Yeah, well, and off of that St. Mary's jump ball that gave Milton the ball, they actually debuted the full court press. They brought it out for the first time this game. It kind of stymied Bruce Thornton for just a second, but he was able to break it fairly easily. It will be interesting to see if this Knights team continues to break out the full court press throughout the rest of this game.
Both free throws were hit by Cormier. And again, another note, neither team has scored a bench point so far today. Milton only has played 6. And it looks like we're having some shot clock issues here along with the game clock. So whistles have been blown, and they'll set it to 25. Knights will inbound once again. But St. Mary's shooting 33% from 3, 2 of 6. 31%, I should say that was in the first quarter. On the game, 30% from 3, 3 of 10. And 29% from the floor, just 8 of 27. And just shot 1 free throw. Still trying to figure out the shot clock here. It's the officials over at the scorer's table. Again, we were tied after the first quarter at 14 points. And Milton won quarter number 2, 18-6. The reason for the separation so far here in quarter number 3. Knights yet to score in this quarter, 1 minute into it, and Jeremiah Cherry traveled.
And speaking of Jeremiah Cherry, if you just look strictly off the stats, in the first half, he went 2 for 3 from the field. That lone miss was on a jump shot from about the free throw line. So when you get it to him in the paint, against a guy that's 5 inches shorter than him, you've got the odds in your favor, that's for sure. But the Knights, you got to call his number.
That was Jeremiah's second turnover of the day. Styles had 5 in that first half. Defense from Cherry's good, but he has the rebound tipped out of his hand. It's Fitzgerald. Tambora going to check in. Of course, at the next whistle. Milton going to slow this pace down. Play their half-court style. Kicked out to the corner, has to reset. A lot of feet shuffling there, but good defense from Kenny White. Floater can't fall. Rebound to Styles Phipps. Styles pushing. Right side of the lane. Little finger roll there. That falls through. First points for the Knights in the half. Tipped by Kenny, out of bounds. Milton ball. Good hustle by number 11. Tambora comes in for Cherry. I'm sure that's going to be a very quick breather. Lopez just going to give him some words of encouragement on the sideline.
And Seydou Tambora, he's got to anchor the rebounding.
And going to get a foul offensively. Going to go the other way. Very close to a 5-second call. Sorry to cut you off, Chris. The Knights going to get the basketball. I believe they call it on LT Overton. They do the first against the Eagles, each team with 1 in the half.
Well, yeah, that's all I was going to say was LT Overton, Jeremiah Cherry about to check back in, but Seydoux, he's got to keep him off the glass, and he's got to just do something offensively as well. Just 0 for 2 from the field for Seydoux Tambora.
Open 3 for Styles. He hit that one, and very quickly down the other way, unable to stop the rush of Thornton was Phelps. Styles now 3 of 7 from beyond the arc. Into the lane, Kenny White thought about a 3, drives baseline, lost his footing, fighting for the basketball, and timeout called by St. Mary's. They will have just 2 left the rest of the way.
Well, coming out of this timeout, obviously you want to see something work. If I'm Coach Lopez, I want to go back to Jeremiah Cherry on the low block, but on the other end, Milton is really pushing the ball hard up the court this half. They're throwing full court passes. They've done it numerous times, 1-hand, 2-hand. They're really trying to make this St. Mary's team run, and they've beaten them back on defense a couple times. The fast break points, 5 St. Mary's, 9 for Milton in the first half, and Milton is showing no signs of slowing down on that end.
You mentioned also as we went into the half, best ball is a game of runs. It's said so often, best scoring run for St. Mary's was a 5-point run. Best for Milton, 9-point run, and they've extended the lead. They currently lead by 11, but St. Mary's looked to get a little more offense going in that second minute of this third quarter. A couple trips down consecutively, knocked down a 2, and then you knocked down a 3.
And the thing is, though, Alex, it's all Styles Phipps. He's the one who's carrying this St. Mary's Knights offensive workload, and with just 7 points combined from Garrison Phelps and Jeremiah Cherry as the only other 2 players on this squad that have scored, you really need to see Seydoux Tambora and those 2 continue to be involved offensively.
St. Mary's will inbound with 20 seconds on the shot clock. Styles will be the trigger man. Tries to get it in, gets it to Cherry. Back to Styles. They reset. Trailing by double digits. Baseline jumper. Back iron, no. Just did a lot of things with momentum going away from the basket for St. Mary's. Another trip there. And that makes the jump shot a lot harder.
Even though LT Overton is just 6'5", his presence in the paint has some of these St. Mary's players not wanting to go in there and get challenged by him.
Trying to get it in, but that one not even close to Overton. He had a mismatch on him. Kenny White was down there. And the Knights force a turnover. Styles Phipps directing traffic. Half-court sets haven't really worked for St. Mary's so far today. Going to get a foul. These are calls that St. Mary's, whether they're fouls or not, either way, weren't getting in the first half. Now on some drives, they're holding Styles Phipps a little bit more. It's a matter until he breaks one free, or those fouls will continue to pile up.
And you'd like to see someone, whether it's Garrison Phelps or Jeremiah Cherry, get to the free throw line at some point. During one of those region games, I believe it was Moon Valley, when Styles Phipps had an off first quarter, it was that first trip to the line that really got him going in the second half.
Jeremiah Cherry banging down low in the post, and again, keep getting it to him. That'll be the catalyst for maybe a run, a 3 the other way. But you can't trade 3s with 2s. Back to a 12-point lead. Jacob Estrella looks like he's going to check back in. Big screen up top. If Cherry rolls, he's open. Set it to Tambora, back out, look for a 3. Styles was short. And rebound to Cormier. They'll cycle back out. They'll use more of that 35-second shot clock, will the Eagles. Almost carried the ball there. Looks to get it to Overton, and Cherry just lost him. Largest lead of the game for Milton. Tied for that mark at 14 at the moment. Cherry, dribble handoff with Garrison Phelps. He'll try a 3 from the left wing. Pure. Knights with 30. That's the 6th point for Garrison Phelps, now 2 of 4 from 3. And a turnover, just took his eye off the basketball before he caught it. Right through the hands of Fitzgerald as Estrella checks in for Kenny White. Knights with another chance to get it back to single digits.
You've got to make use of these opportunities. Milton just giving you the ball, giving you a free possession, and to cut it down to single digits would be huge for this Knights squad.
Garrison Phelps, cross-court pass to Estrella. Cherry. Good ball movement. Styles going to drive baseline. A floater. Back iron, no. Big rebound. Cherry off the glass. The putback. Almost a dangerous fall between two teammates. And it's now a 9-point deficit. Into the lane. Stolen away by Cherry. Gets it to Styles. A 3. It's open for Garrison to cut it to 6. Looked destined for the backboard, but it was too short. Milton will slow the game down once again. Cannon Carlisle trying to get a screen from Overton. Finally does. Working on Phipps, a 3. Ward Cherry. Remember that first quarter where the Eagles really struggled from beyond the arc, and that's how St. Mary's was able to get out to a 6-point lead early.
Yeah, those points in the paint is really what changed the game. The Knights have to force them into tough jump shots like I mentioned before this game started.
Trying to get it into Cherry on the post. Resets to 3 seconds, and they reset the floor. 10 to shoot. Styles a screen from Tambora. Lost the basketball for a second. Pass out to Estrella was tipped, and now they can do some tricks down the other end. Dunked by Cormier. Lead back to double digits. It's 11. Set up the horn set for a second, go out of it. Cherry straight away for a 3. Can he knock it down? Nothing but net. Big time 3 from the big man. He's erupted late in this third. It's an 8-point lead for the Eagles.
Now you've just got to get it down on the defensive end. You have to, when you cut it to single digits, really, really try to not let this Milton team get easy shots like that in the paint.
It was a good job on the drive against Cherry, but he couldn't hit the layup. Tambora. Open is Estrella, but he had somebody hounding back on him. Tipped out, and that's going to go out of bounds. Off his knee, and they say it's Eagle ball. St. Mary's doesn't like that. The ref closest to it with the best angle said, I didn't see it. Next closest ref said it's off his knee. Took a weird bounce. Usually when it angles that way, it is off the offensive player. Bruce Thornton. Into the post, Overton. Good pass on the other post, and that one's easily put off the backboard by Carlisle. 30 seconds left in this quarter. Styles Phipps across the timeline. 15 seconds now. Looks at the clock, now with 10. Shows the floater, rebound, tipped around, off Styles and out of bounds with 6.5. Not a lot of off-ball movement on that possession. Knights trail by 10. Number 3, Knights win that quarter by 2, but it's still a double-digit deficit. Chris showed some good things in that quarter, but just couldn't get that consistent run. They could only bring it down to 8.
Yeah. It was nice to see Jeremiah Cherry back in action, and getting some looks offensively. Even able to knock down a 3. That was huge for the Knights. Him and Garrison Phelps able to knock down 1 each, but Milton is just getting the shots they want on the other end of the floor. They're able to get LT Overton some nice looks in the paint, and when he's not open, it's just those guards, Bruce Thornton and Caden Carlisle, the 2 Division I commits to Ohio State and Stanford, that are doing most of the damage.
And now another word from our sponsors.
Cunningham Aviation is a proud sponsor of the St. Mary's Knights. Aircraft auctions, hangar leasing, fuel services, you name it. see what Cunningham Aviation has to offer at Falcon Field Airport out in Mesa. Go Knights and go Class of '94. And thank you, Cunningham Aviation, for being one of our 3 sponsors for this season.
And again, the big 3 from St. Mary's supplying all 35 points for the Knights. At some point in a run, it's going to have to be one of the other 2 on the floor to go with those 3.
Well, yeah, and this Milton team has really keyed in on Styles Phipps, as they should. They're forcing him into tough situations, doubling him, and they're coming back. When Styles Phipps is turning his back, they're sending 2 guards at him to go for the steal.
Knights start with a basketball. Hit, no foul call. Do a couple of words for Overton. It's good athleticism on both ends there to meet at the summit.
And hopefully that lights a fire under this St. Mary's Knights squad to get some energy going. You know, obviously some words were exchanged, but hopefully the Knights can use that to their advantage.
First free throw from really haven't been standing, and they were energized with that one and have come to their feet all the way to our right, and he missed both free throws. That's a big thing to circle here. 7:30 left in this regulation. Knights trail by 10, 45-35. Milton now can play their game of basketball, slow things down, and get Styles into the lane. 35 and a timeout by Milton here with 6:46 to go.
Interesting that Milton's going to call that timeout because they've really got all the energy in their favor. The first minute and almost 30 seconds for this Knight squad in the fourth quarter, it has not gone their way. Obviously, we apologize for any technical difficulties as we do not have our local connection that we have at Boole Gymnasium going. But yeah, this Knight squad, they've got to it starts on defense, and if they want to get back into this game and pull off some sort of comeback, it starts down there. And talking on defense and moving along the perimeter is what they're going to have to do.
Yeah, but also if you play well on defense, you still have to execute on the offensive end. Problem is they haven't had to use them recently, so they haven't had really in-game practice. They're going to have to find something to get something going because the shots have just been not out of the flow of the offense, for the lack of a better term.
Yeah, the shots these Knights guards and in particular Styles Phipps, he's the main one creating for himself, pretty much the only one, like you said, not in the flow of the offense, and they're just being heavily contested.
Trying to work something through here, Estrella. 24 to shoot, Styles in the corner, gets a ball screen. Can he work off of it? Been hedging quite a bit on those screens, especially when Cherry comes up to set. Do the same here. Back out. And a late foul call will reset the shot clock. There's 9 to shoot, goes back to 25. With 6:20 to go in regulation, Knights still trail by 15. Styles to inbound once again under the basket. It's it to Cherry. Dribble handoff with Styles. Estrella had a chance to get it to Cherry, but wasn't looking for him at the same time. Styles, right wing with Garrison. Long 2, rebound to Cherry. Can he go up? Spin move, gets fouled. He'll go to the free throw line. Gonna need a lot of that, Chris, down the stretch.
Yeah, offensive rebounds will be key, and if Jeremiah Cherry and Seydou Tambora are able to extend some St. Mary's possessions, that would be huge for this Knights team. And the free throws, like I mentioned, I believe this is Jeremiah Cherry's first trip to the line. You've got to get it going from there as well. We saw Seydou Tambora miss 2 early on, and that's not going to be a path to success if you're not able to convert at the stripe.
It's just the 5th free throw attempt from St. Mary's on the game. He hits them both. The Knights 3 of 5 from the free throw line, cuts it to a 13-point game, and there is that full court press. Styles Phipps called for another foul. The big thing about that press, too, it works when you can install it, but you have to do it off of a dead ball or a make. And making shots going to be key. We keep saying it down this stretch. Knights' offense has not been an issue really for the last 10 games, going back to really that Newton matchup for the first quarter, and they ended up scoring pretty well in that game, but averaging 90 points on their win streak over the last couple weeks, Chris.
Well, yeah, and in that Newton game, they were able to speed Newton up, force some turnovers as well, and just, get both teams to play the pace that St. Mary's wanted to play.
And now officers have been called by the officials to go get somebody. Not sure exactly what is going on, but we're back ready to play. 5:55 to go. And that was an offensive push if I've ever seen one. No call. Play continues. Just dribbling all the way around. Garrison Phelps gets away with some contact. Can't grab the rebound, and it stays here with 22 seconds on the shot clock.
And after a tough defensive possession right there that could have gone either way on a foul call, you have to grab that board and communicate, especially when there are two teammates going for the ball.
For Milton, it's pretty much been these five on the floor right now. Another second chance point by Fitzgerald. And Cherry can't grab it. Free possession for the Eagles, another 22 seconds. Milton will inbound under the basket. That's Thornton to the trigger man. He gets it to Overton, working on Cherry. Good defense, but a better move. Deficit back to 15. Lob to Estrella, and that is the first point by someone not named, I should say, Phipps, Phelps, or Cherry. His first two, and a good look. Approaching 5 minutes to go. Into the lane, wide open layup, but the good late help from Cherry gets a tip. Knights on the run. Lob to Garrison, reverse slam! That'll give St. Mary's some energy. It's an 11-point game.
Something's got to wake them up. And
a steal by Phipps in the corner. He'll drive. With contact against him, tries to pass it through. Back out to Garrison Phelps. Could this be the Knights' run? The bench getting involved. 4:36 to go. Cherry back out to Stiles. 20 on the shot clock. In the lane, corner three is Estrella. That one's pure! He knocked down. Are they going to call the foul? No, they won't, but it's a big three that cuts the lead down to 8. And a whistle is blown as Cannon Carlisle has to check out as something on his jersey. But a big corner three and a big stretch from Jacob Estrella there. That's now an 8-point run for St. Mary's.
And you can see the energy has flipped in this Milton gymnasium. Seydou Tambora and Jeremiah Cherry were especially excited to see Estrella hit that three.
And now they're going to elect to have Carlisle wear a different jersey number. I'm not sure the rules on that in the state of Georgia, I should say. Correction, that was a 7-0 run by St. Mary's, still going. Largest run of the game for them, and Banks open. 30-second timeout as the whistle's blown. Cherry with a layup on the other end, but it's a big basket there for the Eagles to stop that run and get the lead back to 11.
Well, such a quick response, too. In this Milton team, to risk shooting that early in an offensive possession right after St. Mary's has gone on a little run, it's risky. And for them to get the bank as well, pretty much just everything has gone their way so far after the first quarter, and it's all about how St. Mary's will respond coming out of this timeout.
And it was a 30-second timeout called by Milton, maybe not wanting to call a timeout after St. Mary's on a run, but after you stop that run and allow your defense to set things up, don't let St. Mary's try to run things out. Make sure your team can win a game. He saved all 5 timeouts for this fourth quarter. He has 3 left. Does Milton head coach Alan Whitehart. St. Mary's with 2 on the final 4:14. Styles with the ball. It's a screen from Tambora. On the back dribble. Kicks out to Estrella. Sets his feet for 3. Can't fall. Hit the rim a couple of times. Now up the floor goes Thornton. He hesitation, almost carried the basketball again. But now it's to Cannon Carlisle, who's wearing Michael Miller's number 15. Floater. In and out. Rebound Cherry. He's got double digits in that category. Styles quickly up the floor. 3:30 to go. Has it tipped out. Estrella mid-range. Hits every part of the rim but falls through. It's a 9-point game. Estrella, he's got 7 quick ones in this fourth. And a blocking foul against Garrison Phelps. 3rd foul against the Knights in the quarter.
Well, one of these guys, besides the St. Mary's big 3, had to step up at some point, whether it be Kenny White, Jacob Estrella, there's most.
Bruce Thornton now with the ball. He drives. Back to 11. Styles Phipps needs a 3. He takes it. That one will flush down. Timeout. Coach Lopez with 3 minutes exactly left on the clock. And the Knights now trail by 8.
And on defense, Milton has really liked to go to that pick and roll. Bruce Thornton with the ball. They like to get Jeremiah Cherry on him, and they like to just let Thornton go one-on-one with Cherry. He's surprisingly been able to take it to the basket, to the paint fairly well on the big man, and he's converted on a lot of those drives in this second half.
Now on this run for St. Mary's to get it back down to 8. They haven't been able to get past 8 in this half. It's been led by Jacob Estrella finding his way open. A couple of athletic plays. Now Styles Phipps in rhythm, hits another 3. Do you start to get Bear Cherry, or do you keep with what's working?
You know, I just think whoever you can get open, whether that be Jeremiah Cherry in the paint or Jacob Estrella along the perimeter, you know, even if it's someone like Garrison Phelps, he's proven throughout this season if you're any Knights guard on the floor. And so I don't think you can pick and choose necessarily with 3 minutes left who you want to score the ball. Besides Styles Phipps, if it's late in the shot clock and he's got to create for himself, you know that's always an option.
5 on the floor for St. Mary's. Seydou Tambora, Garrison Phelps, Jacob Estrella, Styles Phipps, Jeremiah Cherry. They get into that full court press. Haven't been able to use it a lot today. Trying to force a turnover. 3 minutes to go, trailing by 8. Set the trap, get it to Overton, who gets it over. 25 seconds to shoot on the shot clock. Almost a 10-second violation in the backcourt. Dribbling with it now is Carlisle. Had to switch jerseys earlier in this quarter. Some blood on him. He's back ready to play an okay. Contested jumper. How'd that fall through? 10-point game, contested jumper by the Stanford commit. 2:25 left. Styles Phipps trying to make something happen late. Floater off the backboard. Back down to an 8-point deficit. Knights over 50. Set up that full court press. 2 minutes and 11 seconds. Across by Overton. He'll try to go to the lane. Contested on the way up. Circus layup, no good. Knights try to push. Styles will now slow it down. Still numbers, it's 4 on 5. Chance to get it down to maybe even a 5-point game, a 2-possession game if you can make a basket. Styles is fouled on the blocking foul. Will go against Chase Cormier. Fourth foul, of the quarter on the Eagles.
Well, Coach Demon Lopez just telling his point guard, when someone's open like Garrison Phelps was, get him the ball.
Dribble handoff. Garrison on the right wing, minute 45. 15 to shoot. Got to work to get something a little quicker here in the offense. Screen up top, Styles, eyeballs. Garrison Phelps open 3. Rattles off the rim and no good. Now you might have to start thinking about fouling. Seydou on the block. Wasn't trying to, but a minute 27 left. It's an 8-point game. Knights' 4th foul of the quarter. 35 seconds, fresh 35. Do you start fouling now, Chris, or one more possession?
I think you go one more possession just to see what you can do. If you can get a stop here and respond on the other end.
Again, trying to get the turnover. They get the foul on Estrella. That's the 5th foul. It's interesting that they reset fouls after every quarter and still don't have a smaller number for a one-on-one, and Overton was just wide open. That's an easy 2, and it's a 10-point game.
And some of those inbounds passes and plays, the St. Mary's Knights have just gotten lost throughout the entirety of this season.
Knights needed a 3, didn't hit anything, but they say it was tipped. Knights basketball. Minute and 1 second to go. Trail by 10. Gonna need some threes. Trigger man is Stiles. Into Cherry, one last move for him potentially. Rebound by Overton. They swarm it, and it's outletted to Carlisle. He's across. No foul called on Garrison, but he missed the shot, and that'll be a win for St. Mary's. 45 seconds. Garrison slams it down. Back to an 8-point game, and Garrison looks to be hurt. He might have rolled his ankle. That left leg is what he is favoring right now, and hopefully he's okay. Could be a cramp as well. Grab towards that lower mid-leg area. We'll see what he looks at as the trainer will come over. Kenny White comes in for him, and we're back ready for basketball. They get it in. It's an 8-point deficit for St. Mary's. It's across. Will the Knights foul? 30 seconds. They need to foul. Estrella gets up on him. Coach Lopez asking his team to give one, and they do. It's the 6th foul of the quarter on St. Mary's. And now it will finally be a 1-and-1. It'll be Chase Cormier to the free throw line, the 6'2 senior. 61-53.
And unfortunately, we've said this about a decent amount of St. Mary's out-of-state games, but even though they've lost them, this is what is going to prepare and playing teams like Milton late in the season will definitely prepare them for that.
Open 3 in the corner, Estrella. He brought it down, had it tipped on the way up. Fight for the rebound, gets out, and will be saved. Shot clock turned off. That could be how this game is going to end unless Kenny White's called for a foul, and he is. Worry about optics too much, but if he hits one of these free throws, as Garrison will check back in for Kenny, be extended, but it will potentially give St. Mary's another possession to cut it to single digits. But really this game came down to the second quarter. Knights got a lead early in the first, fought back. It was a really well-fought first quarter. Tied at 14 after it, but at halftime it was a 12-point lead for Milton. They never really looked back.
Yeah, well, good thing the point difference of a final score does not matter for the AIA state playoff rankings. This game will count for St. Mary's.
Oh, man, how about Garrison putting it back over a teammate? And that'll bring it back to a 10-point loss. But, again, came down to that second quarter, but it's the reason you come out here is to test yourself against a team like that, especially the strength of those guards.
Yeah, and, you know, like we mentioned, the California trip, the New Orleans trip happened earlier on this season. Even the Brophy and Bishop Gorman games that were in the Hoop Hall West, you know, that was within the first couple weeks of the season. So for the Knights to see someone late in this season, right before the 4A state playoffs happen in about 2 weeks, it's huge because they're able to see top-notch competition and see what they're going to have to do better against some of the, you know, Peorias, South Points, Deer Valleys potentially in this 4A state playoff run.
And St. Mary's had just regained the #1 spot in the 4A class of the AIA towards that tournament rankings. We'll see how this loss affects them. It's going to help the strength of schedule no matter what. The loss might knock them back a little bit. Will they fall back to 3? Will they go to 2? Again, the key really is 1 or 2. You want top 2 to have home court advantage all the way up until the finals, which will take place at Veterans Memorial Coliseum.
Well, yeah, and this is a Milton squad that has been nationally ranked, you know, pretty much this entire year. So hopefully the Knights are not penalized for playing a nationally ranked team, but it has the potential to happen for them to drop down to 3, which is something the Knights would not like to see because, like you mentioned, home court advantage runs through the semifinals in the AIA State Tournament.
Interesting to see. The newest rankings will come out at noon Arizona time on Tuesday. We'll get some final stats for you here in a moment, but it's a good time for a word from our sponsors, Chris.
Last but not least, we thank the Arizona Leadership Foundation. They proudly provide scholarship assistance to private schools and disabled and displaced schools throughout Arizona. The Arizona Leadership Foundation believes parents should have a choice when it comes to the education of their children. They are able to offer scholarships through Arizona's Corporate Income Tuition Tax Credit, or the CTC Scholarship Program, and the Disabled and Displaced Corporate Income Tax Credit Program. These Arizona programs are education plans designed to help low-income families with families with disabled, displaced children obtain the best education for their children. St. Mary's basketball program thanks Arizona Leadership Foundation for their continued support of this St. Mary squad.
Definitely thank you to our sponsors, especially the Arizona Leadership Foundation. Final stats: points for St. Mary's, Styles Phipps with 23, Garrison Phelps with 12, Estrella with 7, all coming in quarter number 4, and then Jeremiah Cherry with 13. Only 4 scores for St. Mary's. Rebounding totals, only man in double figures was Cherry. He had 12. Next highest was Styles Phipps with 6. Garrison Phelps had 5. And assists, the leader for St. Mary's, who just had 7 total on the game. Styles Phipps had 3. Shooting percentages for the Knights in the game: 40% from the floor, a solid 34.8 from 3, 8 of 23, and just 3 of 5 for the free throw line. Leading scorer for Milton, it was 22 from Cannon Carlisle. He had a really good game. So did Connor Cormier, who had 14 to go with Overton's 15. Thornton had 10 as well. Shooting for the game, the Eagles were 42% from the field, 31% from 3, and 90% from the free throw line. Final score: Eagles of Milton 65, Knights of St. Mary's 55. For Chris Ferendorf, I'm Alex Coyle. We really thank you for tuning in, everybody at home, to watch this trip out to Milton, Georgia. The Knights will be back in class on Monday, ready to finish out the last 2 weeks of the regular season. And it comes tournament time, the February Frenzy, as the AIA likes to call it, and a route to try to defend that for a state title. We'll see you sometime next week for the next game for St. Mary's. Looks to be on Tuesday, if I am correct, Chris.
That would be, let me check just really quick to see. It's going to be Tuesday at St. Mary's versus Tempe. And then on February 2nd, against Seton Catholic Prep, that'll be senior night, the last St. Mary's home game before the playoffs begin.
And especially Tempe, you're going to want to go see that one because that's a rematch of St. Mary's last game against Tempe. Scored over 100 points, but Tempe also scored in the mid-80s. So that'll be a good one to come see at Poole Gymnasium. Till then, for Chris Ferendorf, I'm Alex Coyle. See you next time.